Hello, good morning, students. I'm back again here with the chapter Glimpses of the Past. Yesterday, we read that how the British oppressed the Indians, how they levied taxes, which actually destroyed all the Indian industries and the agriculture. Now, the people were actually too submissive to the Britishers, so the Britishers forced them to buy manufactured goods made from England that curbed the Indian cottage and small-scale industries. They were ruined to the extreme. The social movement started when Raja Ram Mohan Roy initiated an awareness program. He genuinely felt the faith in ancient culture. He worked against superstition and in favor of strengthening the culture. His love for science and modern knowledge reflects through his speeches. He started the newspaper. He went to England to assess the strength of Britishers. He made them aware of their duties as the subjugated Indians. So you can very well see like how Britishers they tried every measure, like to oppress these Indian middle class actually. All the industries, the skills, the workers, everything they tried to they levy taxes on them. So in a way the business Indian economy was actually it was completely ruined by them. And when you want to control a country, you have to have a hold over their economy. So Britishers, they understood it very well and they had a very solid hand on our economy. And this was the phase of oppression. Oppression means when you try to, oppress people, when you try to torture them. And in 1818, Britishers had passed the Third Regulation Act. Under it, an Indian could be jailed without a trial. Britishers, they were getting powerful and they were actually flourishing through their businesses. Britishers forcefully exported goods from Britain worth 7 crores by the year 1829. This led to the closing of Indian industries. Now, did you understand why the Indian industries closed down? Because the goods was being imported from from Britain, and since the goods was being imported, or definitely then how what will be the why would we produce then things, for whom we would produce things when the things are already coming in our country. People were buying those things and definitely they were cheaper then because they were machine produced things. Now, this led to the closing of Indian industries, and Indian weavers they lost their livelihood, and it was getting difficult for them to sustain against the cheap option. Definitely, we heard it that it was really a cheap option, for them to send the goods to India. Now, in 1835, Lord Macaulay's name when comes, it is always, for his reforming acts in the field of education. He brought certain changes in education system of India, and they tried to replace with the English language because they realized that Indian needs to do the petty jobs for them. And that's why Lord Macaulay decided that Indians should be educated. As a result of it, a conscientious intellectual class emerged and wanted education for fellow countrymen. As a result of it, a very conscientious intellectual, very aware, self-aware class emerged from India, and they believed that Indians should be taught now. They should have a basic knowledge of language and other subjects. They were also aware of the pathetic condition, so they felt the need to represent the reality before the rulers. And it was 1856 when the Britishers conquered the whole of India. Indian social system was at its lowest. Jobs, lands, religion, pursuing one's faith, all these were snatched by them. The spark talks about an era when the peasant lost their patience. And now the time came when even the peasant, they lost their patience. They had to pay heavy taxes and they were devoid of land. In 1855, the Santals felt oppressed because of new land rules. The massacred Europeans and their supporters, army men, they massacred, they massacred everybody actually. Army men faced discrimination too in promotions and salary. Like India was suffering to such an extent that even there was, generally there is no segregation, generally there is no promotion, what reservation in army, but at that time they had this reservation thing, like Indian had to face a lot of discrimination and biased attitude of these Britishers. So they were getting very disconcerted. Disconcerted means dissatisfied, and they wanted to uproot the British rule. Thank you everyone, and we will take up the last part of this chapter in our next class.